Yeah, I'm fascinated, Mr. Clancy and Mr. Coburn. You know, you're very proud of the authorities that you run and the professionalism that you give people competency tests for. So what are you doing about publicly decrying these adverts for these 5-day training, 5-week training? Are you taking them to the Advertising Standards Board? What are you doing about that?
Well, so we're in some ways the driving test part of the business rather than the qualifications part of the business. As our network of colleagues are represented on different boards, and we do talk about training courses and we do talk about raising standards, and that's exactly why the improvements that Dave has mentioned earlier have happened, because the industry works together to do exactly that. What we work very hard at is with trading standards to make sure that when people are displaying the logo wrongly in terms of the schemes, that's addressed. We support, we provide, all of us provide expert witnesses in various cases, again, to support that. And mostly, and most positively, what we do is talk about why the good reasons why you should use a competent person in your home to have electrical work done. The charity talks very clearly about the wider safety issue, and then we talk about the wisdom of choosing someone sensible, a qualified person, a competent person to have electrical work done in your home because of the guarantees that it brings and the safety confidence that you can have as a result.
Mr. Coburn?
I think one of the main things that we've done is to try to exclude such training from delivering people into our hands. So by setting the standards that say you must have a 2 years experience and say that you must have a qualification that's equivalent to the National Occupational Standards, it cannot be delivered in that way. We can't stop people falsely advertising what their training courses can deliver, but we can stop them being the mechanism for coming into a scheme, and that's what we seek to do.
Stop them being registered.
I mean, if you see them being advertised in local newspapers, you don't think it's your duty to get hold of the editor and get an editorial piece, a puff piece about, fine, these are really interesting 5-week courses, but you are not going to be a qualified electrician after it, and you will not get registered? There's 10 other hoops you've got to go through. Don't you think it's your duty to do that?
We help people when they call us, but no, I don't think it's our duty to do that. I think it's our duty to publicise broad safety messages. It's our duty to uphold the competencies in the scheme, and we can influence the training agenda, but we can't, they are allowed to operate and exist, and that comes back to the previous comments about some of the complexities. I feel more passionately about DIY sheds selling things that they shouldn't, but I can't do much about that, I'm afraid. But what I can do is say to people why they shouldn't ask their dad to do something along those lines.
Fair enough. I'll remember not to ask my dad.
Unless he's competent.
As the trade association, we recently submitted responses to BIS as part of an evidence collection they made looking at the apprenticeship and training framework for our industry. We have, as part of that process, suggested this whole area of training needs tightening. There needs to be some standards applied. There needs to be some mark that contractors can look for to know they're going to get good advice. I end up writing letters back to people who quote to me endless lists of courses they've taken, and now they can't get a job, they can't get an ECS card on the JIB, etc. We need something done about that, and we started that process through BIS.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chair.